Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Fuel for Success. This is episode number 290, and I am stoked to be here with y'all. And great to see everybody here this morning. Great to not actually see my friend Matt, although I don't know what happened. I had him a second ago. There he is. And we're thrilled about our Wednesday show. We're going to be talking about some relationship issues. And y'all have relationship issues, so we're going to help you out today. That's all I got to say. And good morning, Matt. And great to see you, my friend.
I am blessed, man. Looking forward. This is one of our favorite shows, man. I enjoy talking about family and relationships and just here to help people, Mike. That's why we do what we do, man. And, we have a lot of people that text in questions, email questions, but don't forget one of the most valuable things about Fuel for Success is the fact that we have a live chat box over here to my, what would that be? My right? Your left? My right?
It's on my right.
Whatever it is.
Opposite.
Everybody's right. Yeah.
I don't know.
But if you're live, I think you can only get the chat on a computer. Is that right, Mike?
There is on the app as well, but it's a little bit more complicated to use. If you're on a computer, it's pretty easy to see. It'll be over there. If it's on an app, you have to kind of look around for it. But it's there. And if you can't find it and you're on your phone, just text us, 727-341-5599, and we'll get your question on the air.
Post it on our Facebook wall. Tweet us, text us, email us. It's really all about Q&A, Mike. This whole show is Q&A. It's people ask us questions. Oh, there you go. There's my buddy. He's growing up, man.
I need to bring Henry on air. Special guest, Henry. Henry, tell us about relationships. He's like, I don't know, I got the hiccups. What's going on?
He's growing up, buddy.
I know. He's enormous. Say hi.
Is he walking yet?
Almost. He can stand up by himself. He just stands there and like looks at you. Yep.
Sugar cutie Bubba.
All right, he's got.
He's my little Bubba.
See you later, Henry. Be good. So parenting is great. Grandparenting is completely different.
Just that word, Mike. I'm still getting used to you being a grandpa. You know what I mean?
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm the same. I don't even know what to think. I'm like, how can that be? Is that possible? What? But it is.
Taryn must have had her child when she was 14.
Yeah, it must be.
Here we are. We're here.
Hey.
We're here to help. We're here to talk.
Let's do the announcement of the webinar real quick, just to get started. And I'm just going to pop it up here, just so you can see the link. I'm going to give you the link to that as well.
You guys see that?
So
Mike and I, tomorrow night, Thursday, June 4th at 9 o'clock, we're going to be talking about how to curb your appetite. This is huge. And most importantly, breaking the sugar addiction. So all you sugar addicts out there, make sure you get on this webinar. It's free. And Mike and I are just going to be doing some coaching and talking. Mike, you excited about this? What are you most looking forward to?
I am. You know, I love, we're actually going to be using this Spreecast platform like this. So you that are familiar with it are already here. And I love the interaction, the questions that people ask. And I know that we're going to be delivering some amazing free content to some people. And I love helping people out. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. And I feel like we've got some good information that people can use. So I'm excited to help.
But do you like helping people move?
I don't mind. It depends on the
people. It's one of those things. If someone wants to go into business, start a moving company. Because, dude, almost everybody hires movers. You know why? Because that thought of like calling or texting a friend and asking them to help move is almost like it's obsolete, man. So,
it's possible that some people are members of the church simply to help them move. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a lot of ministry there, opportunity. Help people move. What are we talking about today? Relationships. Hey, so first question, how do you not take advantage of your friends every time you move? No, that's not my question. I'm just kidding.
Well, don't buy them pizza. You know what I mean? That's like the traditional thing. Hey, if you help me move, I'll buy pizza. I'm like, how about like sushi? Um, you know, a nice restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I got
You know
Little
what, Mike?
Caesars for you.
You know what
I know
I'd
you
rather
gave up
have?
four and a
You know
half.
what I'd rather have than pizza? Buy me an
Tell me.
iPhone charger. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this is a practical gift. You can never have enough iPhone chargers. I want one in every room in my home. You know what I'm saying? I'm building up. I got 3 now, so I need more, man. So any of you out there, that's practical, man. iPhone chargers. Don't buy a pizza. They don't want to eat pizza after they just got done helping you move.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go on Amazon and just send you like a 10 pack. Here you go. Here's your Amazon. Here's your iPhone
That
chargers.
would that would be funny.
Well, our daughter Danny goes through headphones like a lot of people go through glasses of water. So one year for Christmas, we got her like 15 sets of headphones. Here's the bulk pack. Have fun with
Nice. And
that.
that
Hopefully it
lasted her
lasts you a
what?
year.
It lasted her a month?
Yeah, a couple months. I don't know what she does. Anyway, hey, so let's move on to our relationship related questions here. And again, anybody that's watching live, ask questions. Feel free. If you're watching later, I can't read it. Focus. I couldn't read it because the camera didn't quite focus it in. If you're watching later on the archive, text us 727-341-5599 or email us mike@mattmaddox.com. And we'll get your questions on air as quickly as we possibly can. As quickly as humanly possible. That's what we'll do. But I've got some questions, and I want to ask you this. I want to start out with this. And I want to talk a little bit about insecurity and insecurity in relationships. So if you can sort of unpack for me, how can insecurity hurt relationships in general?
You know, Mike, besides dishonor, obviously deception, the 2 Ds, insecurity is probably one of the number one destroyer of any relationship, not just dating or marriage, or if you're a parent and you're insecure. If it hurts you with your siblings, it definitely hurts you with your friends. Mike, I really wished, and I wish more people, more parents, more Sunday school teachers, youth pastors, coaches would focus on this one thing, because confidence and being secure within yourself will totally help your relationships. When you're insecure, I mean, it just depends on, whether or not we're talking about the insecure boyfriend, the insecure wife, the insecure friend, like, really, like I've got friends that if I post on Facebook, I'm out, having, hanging with another friend, they literally like get insecure about it. They really do. They struggle with it, or maybe your kid, if you give attention to another kid, they get insecure. Well, Dad, you didn't do that with me. There's so many different ways that insecurity shows up. And it hurts relationships bad, because you can't have a healthy relationship when there's insecurity. And it also hurts the other person, because just the whole flow of the relationship just gets tight when there's insecurity. And Mike, we grow up in an insecure world. It's normal for someone to feel insecure. We're human. We all have, flaws. We all, have shortcomings or whatever. But at the end of the day, we've got to work. That's why emotional wholeness is so important, because we got to be secure, and it makes our relationships healthier. When you're around somebody that's secure, they don't get their feelings hurt a lot. They're easier to work with. They're easier to, just easier to have a relationship with, if you would.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
True. Carol brings up a point about, there's actually two sides of that as well. And so I think one thing to remember is that if you're dealing, you can actually cause insecurity in someone else by the way that you treat
Absolutely.
them. I believe that's true. And so you definitely want to avoid that. And one way to avoid that is really speaking positive words, speaking affirmation to that person. And sometimes you just have to get real and just say, I like the example that you gave, and I've seen that. You have friends, and maybe you're going to hang out with one friend and the other one gets insecure about it. Like, hey, you went fishing with Joe, and I didn't get a call. What's up with that? It's like, look, I'm not, I don't
Yeah.
hate you, right? I just went fishing with Joe. It's not a big deal.
Joey, that's all. He just wants to hang with Joe, folks. Lay off him. Quit being mean to Mike because he wants to hang with Joe, baby. Mike Carroll does make a good point. You're right. A lot of us as parents breed insecurity in our kids. We also do it to our spouses. If you never tell your wife she looks beautiful and sexy and gorgeous, and same thing with your husbands. You're always bragging on other men, or you never affirm your husband. You never talk about what a hard worker he is. Of course, that's no excuse for any of us to be insecure. We've got to find our security in God. We got to know who we are. That's part of emotional wholeness and being healthy, and not taking things personal. Literally, don't take things personal. That's probably one of the number one signs that you're secure, is that you don't take things personal and you don't read into stuff. There's just many times, Mike, I think I've said this quote before, on Fuel for Success. In our 20s, we worried ourselves sick what everybody thought about us. In our 40s, we don't care what people think about us. And in our 60s, we realized nobody was thinking about us. Anyways.
And that in the 60s is the part that can really help you overcome insecurity sometimes, because it's, another thing I've heard you say, and I don't remember where the quote comes from, but a lot of times when you understand that people aren't against you, they're just for themselves. And it's like when you realize that in someone else's life, you maybe didn't even enter the equation. And don't take that the wrong way. Just understand that, look, everybody has crazy, busy, full lives, and things happen, and you just relax a little bit. Relax a little bit. Want to come back to something that you had touched on about emotional wholeness, and this dovetails nicely into another question that we got, which is this. And if we've got people that are considering entering into a serious relationship, maybe a romantic relationship with someone else, but they're not emotionally whole, I think we've maybe touched on this before, and you touched on it just briefly earlier today, and that's a dangerous situation. So can you touch on why is it important to become emotionally whole, really, before you get into a serious relationship, and maybe what the negative outcome could be if you're not?
Well, here's the deal. Mike, more now than ever before, traveling, being a life coach, working with so many people, doing a lot of counseling through the years, even my own experiences in dating, just the things that I've walked through in life. I attribute any of my relationships that are healthy, that are good relationships, it was because I had personal growth and emotional wholeness. I became just what I would say. In fact, I just taught at a health seminar called The 15 Ways to Become Emotionally Healthy. That's probably a webinar we should do down the road, just because I feel like if people become emotionally healthy, then their relationships would get better. They would have more success. They would be healthier. The list goes on and on. You know what I'm saying? So here's the deal, man. What was the question? How do you become emotional, or how does it impact relationships?
Yeah, really, the question is more like, why is it important to become emotionally whole before you get into a serious relationship?
Oh, well, first of all, if you're not, codependent relationships happen when people are not emotionally whole. And when you get into a codependent relationship, which is total, obviously a lot of insecurity there. People, are not strong within themselves, then what happens is, Mike, when you try to get all of your needs met from one person, I see this happen a lot in dating. It's dangerous. You can drain the life out of somebody. You have got to have many different streams of people and resources that meet your needs rather than just, well, first of all emotional wholeness begins with 100% dependence on God and just knowing who you are and accepting yourself, loving yourself, focusing on your strengths and accepting your weaknesses and not accepting them as marrying yourself to them, because we all want to get better and change. Too many people are focused on their flaws, their weaknesses. Too many people focus on what they don't have. A lot of it is bred in a lack of gratitude, a lack of just perspective. And the reason why it's so important to be emotionally whole is because you don't want to drain the relationships of your life and you don't want to damage the relationships. Mike, when you're not emotionally healthy, it damages relationships. And people are too valuable. You know, there's many people that we've hurt, many relationships that we needed that were a gift from God that we pushed away because we weren't emotionally strong. This is why I tell young people or adult singles, become emotionally whole first before before you date. I see too many people that, they're dating because they have a void in their life and they're trying to find somebody to meet that need. And then, of course, that goes into like improper focus on relationships in the first place. You really don't get into relationships for what you can get. You get in for what you can give. It really is about giving and serving. And, of course, it's normal to want your needs met as a man or as a lady. It's normal. So don't feel guilty for having needs and wanting your needs met. It's just not having codependency on that. If somebody breaks up with you, you shouldn't be suicidal. If your wife decides that she falls in love with the mailman, that's her problem. There's probably things that you could have done better, sure. But, at the end of the day, that doesn't define you. And that's all I'm trying to say, Mike. I'm obviously very passionate about this subject.
Yeah, I like that, and I like the concept of multiple streams of really support for yourself and understanding that. So really, I guess what you're saying is that if you're not emotionally whole, well, let me just ask this follow-up question. What would be some indications if I was starting to get into, and obviously this isn't the case for me, but hypothetically, a person that's watching is considering getting into a relationship that's serious. What would be some warning flags that maybe they're not emotionally whole, that they're becoming codependent, that there's rocks ahead? What would be some warning signs?
That they don't have other friends, that, like, for example, if guys don't have a lot of guy friends or vice versa, ladies, if they say things like, well, I hang out with guys, like if a girl says to me, I hang out with guys because girls don't like me, I would be running so fast. I would run fast like you couldn't even imagine. I would like, there wouldn't be another date. There wouldn't till she was ready. But that's a sign. There's all kinds of signs. I'll give you 5 real quick. I would say, wait, just to refresh the question, you're talking about in relationships, how do we see it before?
Yeah. What would be some warning signs that there's trouble ahead, that you're starting to get into a codependent relationship, you're not emotionally whole, you're not emotionally ready?
People that get their feelings hurt and you'll feel it. You'll feel the heaviness. Heaviness will begin to come because you feel like you can never please them. A sign of somebody that's codependent. You can never please them. They're always mad at you about something. You can never do anything right. You can never give enough. You can never give enough. That's, Mike, these right here, the number one warning signs that someone is codependent and they're becoming codependent on you. If you tell them no, they get mad, they get hurt, they take it personal. Like in safe relationships, it should be okay if I say, hey, Mike, you want to hang out? And he said, Matt, I'm not feeling it. I'm just tired. Or he should just be able to say, not tonight. He doesn't need to give me an hour explanation and write a long post on my Facebook. At the end of the day, we should be, there's supposed to be in safe relationships where there's not codependency, there's such a freedom to be yourself, and there's no heaviness there's no tension of worrying that I'm gonna hurt or make them mad or
Right.
whatever. Like, so when someone is codependent, they're depending on you for everything, and it's just not good, Mike. And you can recognize these things, and please, all you singles out there, there's 7 billion people out there. Plus, you live in the internet age. You have access to anybody. Your options are endless. Don't get involved with people that are codependent. Now, and that's why I said, yeah, there's some people that might be the right one, but it's not the right time. They still got to grow. They still got to do some inner work. But Mike, this goes for business. This goes for sports. This goes for friendships. It's hard. You can't be close to people that are codependent. You can reach out. You can help them. You can encourage them. But it's hard, Mike. It's just a drain. And I don't have the energy. My life is too complicated. I could not be in a codependent friendship, relationship, because my life's too complicated and I'm too focused. So then what about you, Mike? What do you think of that?
I think back to some past relationships I've had and other things, friendships and even business relationships. And when I think that one thing that's really stuck out to me, if you have to say something that isn't exactly what the other person likes and you start to panic, that's a warning sign, right? You're like, oh, how am I going to tell them this, right? Then that's not a safe relationship. If you're worried about and obviously, somebody you care about, you don't want to hurt their feelings, you don't want to disappoint them, all of those sort of things. But if you get to the place where you're starting to panic, or maybe you're shading the truth a little bit to sort of ease the impact of what you're saying, then I think that might be a warning sign, and you might want to evaluate the safety of that relationship, and if there's a dependence issue there. And that's
I want to throw this out because what you said was good. Mike, here's what I know, okay, about all friendships, relationships, connections, dating, marriage. The Bible says this: can two walk together except they be agreed? Now, that's not meaning like if I say I like dark chocolate, that you have to agree that you like dark chocolate or whatever, or I love, I'd rather go to a cabin at Christmas rather than New York City at Christmas. I mean, I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about your core values, but almost as importantly as your core values is your energy and your attitude. Like, Mike, here's what happens in all relationships. They can only go so far if there's a conflict of belief systems, attitude, like positive and negative cannot last. It can, and then, so when you get to know somebody at first, we all put on our best performance at first. The more you get, whether it's in a friendship, business, dating, whatever. But the more you get to know, it's like us and me and Mike as a business partner. I mean, it's just, first of all, I mean, it's a God thing. Secondly, there's just such a understanding of each other. There's such a connection. There's a lot of extremely similar values and
right.
Passion and all this stuff that, Mike, when you get into relationships end. That's what I want to say. All friendships, relationships end, because either you outgrow that person or they outgrew you, or your relationship road ran out because of energy and attitude. And I'm not just talking about like hyper energy. I'm not talking about someone that loves to get up at 4 a.m. energy. I'm talking about like their whole vibe, their whole energy towards life and just whatever it may be. Like, for example, I've gotten in the sports world, I've tried working with other coaches that it could only go so far because I didn't believe in cussing the kids out. I didn't believe in chewing a kid out because he made an error. I was real positive. I believed in, and there was just, the relationship ran out because there was no like able to move forward because of the difference of energy and attitude and values. Get it? It doesn't make us evil. It is what it is.
Yeah, I like that, and I like that perspective on it. That's a great point. Hey, one quick follow-up question that Tommy had, and how do you deal with codependent people that you cannot avoid, like coworkers, family members, church members, those sort of people? I like what Britton said about just limiting the amount of contact you have with them. But what's your take on this, Matt?
Mike, I've tried to, there are certain people you can avoid.
Right.
I really believe in being classy. I believe in taking the high road in life. I believe in being the better person. I believe in recognizing, okay, because I'm a dealer of hope. I want people to help. I want to help people, and you can't help them if you cut them off always. Of course, this people you can't avoid, family, friends, whatever. But you cannot cater. That's what I would say. I believe in boundaries. I believe and I don't believe in catering to codependents. So you can still be around them, just not catering to it. When you see them start to whatever, don't cater to it. Meaning like don't give a long explanation if you've got to say no, even when they're pouting. You cannot cater to a pouter, my friends. There's a lot of pouters in life that they get some kind of rush by you catering to their pouting. And you cannot do that. You'll get manipulated faster than you can blink an eye. That's like people that do the silent treatment, or people that ignore you, or they pull back. If you're not giving them enough, or if you're not, whatever. I mean, you cannot cater. You go, okay, fine. And just, you literally got to have the energy and attitude of, okay, you know what, fine. Not to be a jerk. It's boundaries, and it's not catering. That's what I would say. But still be kind, still reach out, still try to help them if possible. The biggest part about helping anybody, Mike, is them admitting they need help. That's the biggest part, is trying to dig through the ego and the pride of somebody, before you can actually help them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and for Tommy, I think one of the things that, especially as a fellow introvert, and one of the things that a lot of introverts are very people-pleasing sort of mentality and that sort of thing, and it can be uncomfortable to do what Matt just said, to not cater. I mean, even though you don't owe really anybody anything, right? At the same time, it can be uncomfortable to do that, and sometimes you just have to break through that and just say, as you said, don't give a long explanation, don't cater to it. Just the answer is the answer, move on, and that can help, readjust those boundaries, and those sort of actions sort of move the boundaries a little bit, set them a little firmer in place. Small actions like that begin to add up.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
We're about it.
We had another question. Yeah, we got about 2 minutes left. Oh, we did.
Well, I have
Right, what were you about to say?
I was looking for a live one. I was just going to go back to the webinar quick because I had the link, but we'll do that in just a second. Well, and we've talked about boundaries before. I just touched on it. But why are boundaries so important for people?
Boundaries save relationships. Boundaries save your health. Boundaries save your life. Boundaries save marriage. Boundaries saves friendships. Because, first time I've ever sneezed on Fuel for Success, ever. But anyways, that's not bad. 90 episodes without a sneeze.
That's pretty good.
Mike. Boundaries. Boundaries. We've grown up in a world without boundaries. We've grown up in a lot of homes and relationships without boundaries that it almost feels like a bad word or a bad thing. Boundaries are so safe and so healthy and so good. Why are they important? Because A, they save relationships. B, they make relationships healthier. C, they increase your own confidence and security. D, boundaries also help, keep you, from getting hurt. Boundaries also, E, number 5, I would say boundaries also, they define relationships. that's what I would say. What about you, Mike? Why do you think they're important?
Well, I think that it helps from both sides. So when you have boundaries, it helps you understand where your actions need to go, and it also prevents a lot of misunderstandings, I think. And so and setting boundaries, as we said just a few moments ago, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to sit down with like a contract with someone and say, here's where the boundaries are. Sometimes you just adjust those a little bit with some pressure that you exert socially.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and
that's good.
so you may, end up in a situation where somebody you work with is very overbearing and takes advantage of you or whatever, and just by giving that simple no without an explanation and moving on, you're exerting just a little bit of social pressure that sort of sets up those boundaries. And then that creates a healthier environment, a healthier relationship where both of you know where that is. And so when you have that scenario and neither of you cross that line, it it's a lot healthier. So
That's really good. We'll kind of end the show on this, Mike, and then you can talk about the webinar real quick. I want to go back to this real fast. Another sign of codependency is people that go from one relationship to another. And that's bad. That's really bad. Probably, Mike, if I was writing a book, chapter 1 to all singles would be, you get out of a serious relationship, make sure you heal first before you get into another one. This is for people that get out of a divorce. This is people that were in a long-term serious relationship. It is just, I cringe when I see people go from one relationship to another. I could have met the most amazing lady on the planet, and if she just got out of a serious relationship, I wouldn't even think about getting serious for at least 6 months to a year, because the chance of relapse and the deception of emotions. I always tell people, whether it's after a divorce or a breakup, you almost got to go through all 4 seasons, spring, winter, summer, fall, go through all the holidays and make sure you're really past. Because emotions, dude, this is why relationships are screwed up, man. What's the divorce rate right now? 60% plus-ish? But anyways, I just wanted to kind of end the show with that. Tell us a little bit about the webinar, Mike.
that's great. And I was thinking metaphorical seasons. You mean literal seasons. So that's good. That's great advice.
It's good wisdom. Get through, 4 seasons, right? Because if you're in a long-term relationship or marriage, you have memories in all 4 of those seasons. Spring brings memories. There's scents. There's things that you did in the spring together, you did in the winter, you did in the summer, you did in the fall. Holidays, whether it's Valentine's Day. Look, you got to face Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I mean, it's just, Mike, it's wiser. I mean, time is your friend in the world of emotional healing and relationship recovery. But what happens is, instead of just facing it, because of codependency, people go get another one to try to cover the real pain, or especially when you've been cheated on. This is the worst, because people are like, I'll show her, I'll show him, and that's just bad, man. We'll have to deal with this next week, Mike, because it's so much.
There is a lot, and that's good stuff. Great advice. Real quickly, I put the link up there, also over in the chat box. I'm going to throw the graphic up here. Webinar tomorrow night. You make sure you want to join us for that. Anything else you want to add about the webinar, my friend?
Yeah, I just want to encourage you guys to watch it, and please, can you take this link and post it on your Facebook, please? We don't ask for much. Mike and I do this 30 minutes every day. It's a lot of time, and we don't ask for you to do much for us, but I'm asking you to take this link, copy it, and paste it. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Copy and paste this link, and share it on your Facebook, your Twitters, and all that stuff. Text it to some friends that you know that are trying to get healthy or whatever. And I'd like to see a couple hundred people on this webinar. And then, yes, Bridget, it will be, you will be able to view it after later that night with that same link. Just keep this link, and you can watch it from now until Jesus comes, man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, great show today, Matt. Good stuff.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
man. Enjoy being with all of you guys. I love y'all. Mike, love you, my friend. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking some business tomorrow. And don't forget, this is our 290th episode, which means all of these are archived. You can watch them at any time on fuelforsuccess.tv. You can also watch it at or listen to it on iTunes and also on YouTube. It's really simple. Go to YouTube and type in Fuel for Success and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our Spreecast here if you haven't. That way you get an email every time Mike and I do a Spreecast. And then stay connected with us, man. Follow us on social media so we can connect with you. And thank you to all of our live viewers. I loved all the content over here. You guys shared some great stuff. I really enjoyed and appreciated. And we'll be seeing y'all tomorrow morning at 9:30, my friends. Y'all enjoy your day.
Have an awesome Wednesday, everyone. God bless.